Have you ever stopped to ponder, what happens when politics become less about policy and more about identity? Welcome to the world of identity politics, a realm where allegiances are formed and battles are waged based on aspects of identity such as race, religion, gender, and culture. Consider the case of a small yet vibrant nation in Eastern Europe. Let's call it Country X. In the early 2000s, Country X was rife with political disagreement. This wasn't about economic policy or foreign relations. No, this was a matter of identity. The nation was divided, not by borders, but by language. Two linguistic groups, each with its distinct culture and history, were at odds over recognition and rights. The majority group, with control of the government, passed laws that favored their language, marginalizing the minority. The minority group, feeling oppressed, responded by rallying around their identity. Their language became a symbol of resistance, a unifying force against perceived oppression. This is identity politics in action. It's not about grand ideas or strategic plans for the nation. It's about who you are, what language you speak, which God you pray to, or where your ancestors hailed from. But let's delve deeper into the case of Country X. As the minority group rallied, they gained political traction. They started to win seats in the parliament. They pushed for laws that recognized their language and culture. Suddenly the majority found themselves on the defensive, fighting to maintain their dominance. This cycle of action and reaction, of assertion and resistance, continued for years. The result? A deeply divided nation, paralyzed by conflict over identity. Economic growth slowed, social cohesion weakened, and foreign relations suffered. Yet it wasn't all doom and gloom. Amidst the strife, there emerged a new understanding of diversity and a recognition of the need for inclusivity. The majority began to see the value in preserving the minority language and culture. The minority in turn felt recognized and valued. This is the paradox of identity politics. On one hand, it can divide and polarize. On the other, it can lead to a greater recognition of diversity and a more inclusive society. So, what have we learned from the case of Country X? First, identity politics can lead to division and conflict. When politics becomes about us versus them, it can tear societies apart. Second, identity politics can slow economic growth. When a nation is consumed by identity conflicts, it can struggle to focus on economic development. Third, identity politics can strain foreign relations. When a country is seen as divided and unstable, it can deter foreign investment and damage diplomatic ties. But we've also seen that identity politics can foster diversity and inclusivity. When identities are recognized and valued, it can lead to a more inclusive society. The story of Country X is a tale of identity politics in all its complexity. It's a reminder that while identity politics can divide, it can also unite. It's a call to understand and navigate the complexities of identity in our increasingly diverse world. In the end, the question isn't whether we should have identity politics. The question is, how can we engage with identity politics in a way that fosters unity and inclusivity rather than division and conflict? Remember, politics is about more than just policies and power. It's about people, their identities, and their stories. And perhaps by understanding these stories, we can find a way to bridge the divides and build a more inclusive world.